Okay, in this video, we are going to learn how to draw sine graph. Okay, we'll first start off with y equals to sine x. And first, I'm going to draw what is the highest point and lowest point. Okay, so take note. Okay, when we want to draw the highest and lowest point, can you give some space? My highest point is 1. My lowest point is -1. In your exercise book, can you give at least 4 lines, okay, per interval? And then, okay, for the 4 quadrants, okay, can you leave some space? Not 1 cm, okay, not 1 cm per interval, at least a 1.5 or 2 cm, okay? Draw it a little bit bigger, please don't draw it too small. Okay, and why do I draw these 4 lines? Okay, I just give you a hint already. Why do I draw these 4 lines on the x-axis? So the reason why I draw 4 is because I want to draw the 4 quadrants, okay? Which is 90, 180, 270, and 360. Every cycle is 360, okay? Which actually one period is 360. Okay, now ask my question. How does the graph look like? Does it go up first or go down first? Okay, if you can't remember, what is the technique that actually I hinted you all last time? If you can't remember the graph, you all just have to sub in values. Sub in values. Okay, and I will put a dot here, for example, sine 0. If x is 0, you press in the calculator. Sine 0 gives me what? So it means I can put a dot. Okay, don't put cross because there will be so many crosses. So I'll put a dot to state the point. Okay, next point is 90. Key in what is sine 90. Sine 90 gives you what? Sine 90 is 1. So I'm going to put a dot. Now I know that it goes up. It goes up first. Then sine 180. You key in the calculator, sine 180 gives me 0. Thank you. Okay, so it means it goes down. After it goes up, it goes down. Okay, next point, 270. So if it gives you -1, I will go down. Okay, and sine 360 in your calculator, you key in, you check, it should be 0. Okay, so this is actually how we predict what's the shape of the graph. Okay. Wrong example is you will do straight line, go down, zigzag. Can we do this? We can't, okay, because it is a curve. Okay, you look at the sine graph animation, it's actually a curve. Okay, so instead of drawing straight line, I will need to draw a curve. Okay, starting from 0, curve upwards. When it goes down, curve downwards. And then all the way down to -1 and go up. Okay, so this is how I draw the sine graph y equals to sine x. Okay, so now we move on to y equals to cosine x. Okay, my cosine graph. Okay, again, I will find out what is the maximum and minimum value. Okay, it's actually 1 and -1. Same thing as the sine graph. Okay, so make sure that you actually use 4 lines, okay, for between 1 and 0 and between 0 and -1. Okay, afterwards, leave your 1.5 cm between each interval. Okay, it should be roughly symmetrical. Okay, like this. Okay, and again, I'm going to label the intervals. Okay, how am I going to label the intervals? Like first one 90, second one 180. Yes. And then 360. One cycle is 360. Thank you very much. 10 points. Okay, again, we will use red dots. Okay, so you use your dots to plot the graph and find the general shape. And we start from x is 0. So you can key in cosine 0. It should give me a value. Okay, cosine 0, I key in x is 0, it gives me 1. Okay, and then after that, how about for 90? Okay, cosine 90 is 0. How about cosine 180? -1. Thank you, Adela. Okay, so it went down first, and then 270. Cosine 270, put it at 0. Thank you anyway. Okay, and 360, it actually goes back to 1. Okay, so at this place. Okay, so can you imagine what is a negative example? After you plot Okay, some of you may do this, okay, which you should not do. Some of you may tend to draw a V. I show you what's the V, like this. Some of you may tend to do this, okay. But this cosine graph is a curve again, so please don't do this, okay. You want to draw the curve, okay, it's slightly difficult, but I will show you how to draw the curve. Okay, so please do not draw this straight line. If you want to draw the curve, follow the animation. Okay, it curves like this, go down. When it's nearing the point, okay, it curves and like this. Okay, so this is the correct example of the cosine x curve. Okay, so as we see from the animation for tangent x, okay, there's actually no minimum, no maximum points, okay, but we can still draw the intervals, okay, which is 90, 180, 270, 360, okay. So we will draw the intervals like this, okay, and then we will just plot the major points, okay, 0, 90, 180, 270, 360, okay. Key in the calculator, tangent 0 should give you a value. Okay, tangent 0 is 0. How about tangent 90? Tangent 90 doesn't exist. Okay, have you heard of asymptotes? Asymptotes are just lines that the graph tends towards. Okay, means the graph doesn't touch this line. It doesn't touch. Okay, then we move on to 180. Tangent 180. What's the value? 0 for tangent 180, right? Okay, how about 270? Math error again. Sharika, what do you think we can draw? If tangent 270 doesn't exist? Yes. Thank you very much. Okay, so it doesn't exist. Again, I'll draw another one, another dotted line. To show that this graph doesn't touch tangent 270. It doesn't. Okay, so I will draw a vertical line. It's also known as another asymptote. Alright, okay, so left with 360. 360. It goes back to 0. Okay, then now, how do we even know what's the shape? Either you actually memorize, or why not you take a look at the quadrant. Remember the ASTC? What is A, what is S, what is T, what is C? You can tell me which are the quadrants that tangent is positive. Positive in A and T, also known as first quadrant, third quadrant. First quadrant is here, right? Third quadrant is here, right? Okay, so I roughly know what is the positive side, what is the negative side. This is how I actually remember. Okay, so then the second and fourth will be the negative values. Tangent is negative. Okay, so the graph will actually look like this. I will show you. Okay, so it starts from 0. Okay, and it goes up in the first quadrant. It's positive, always positive, and it tends towards the asymptote. Doesn't touch it. It only goes up, closer and closer to it. Then the second is negative, but it reaches point 0 at 180. Okay, make it nicer a bit. Okay, it curves, reaches 180, and it goes up because it's positive in third. And the last one, okay, it will be like this. Fourth quadrant, negative. So you see, I use the ASTC to help me remember when is it positive, when is it negative. Right? Okay, so this is how I use the ASTC to draw the tangent graph.